Hey friends, Ash here, Gents. Today we tackle one of life's largest conundrums, fresh fragrances. What is the conundrum with fresh fragrances? Well, their longevity. Yeah, their staying power. A lot of times they'll be very fresh, uplifting, smell fantastic, something like your own cologne. But then their longevity is weak, sad, and pathetic. It leaves a lot to be desired, you could say. It's embarrassing. But today we're going to talk about 15 fragrances that are fresh, but also have good longevity. Long-lasting fragrances with freshness? What a novel concept. It's like literally everything fresh. That's the whole selling point, isn't it? When you see a commercial, long-lasting freshness. Chew 5 gum. Ugh.
Stimulate your senses.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And today we're tackling the fragrance spectrum. I've got just a smorgasbord of scents over here. Different types of fresh fragrances. Something for everybody. Let's check them out. You know what else is fresh? Codes. Codes are fresh. If you shop at luckyscent.com, use the code 10GENTS. It'll save you 10% off your order. That's really nice. You know what else is nice? TwistedLily.com and MaxAroma.com also giving us codes GENTS10 for both those websites. 10% off your order either site. Okay, we have many things. Let us get started. Let's try to bust through here. Bust through here? Bust through these? MISSONI Wave is first up. This was the very first fragrance that popped into the old noggin up here. Had to go with MISSONI Wave. It is, of course, aquatic, fresh, super clean, enormously versatile. People love this stuff. A little bit similar to Versace Pour Homme or Chanel Allure Homme Sport, but nowadays, of the three, I would take this one. Is that because they got a magnetic cap with this one? Yes and no, but also yes. MISSONI Wave is a killer scent. For the price point, that stuff you cannot go wrong with. A lot of you out there love that one. Anytime I bring up summertime fragrances and allow you guys to choose what should be in the list, that one always makes the list. So MISSONI Wave, first one I thought of. After that, we're gonna go Ralph Lauren Polo Deep Blue. Really nice one, this. It's got a slight sea salty marine feel to it, as this nice citrus and mango opening, so you're gonna get a little bit of a different flair when you first spray this one on. Very clean and classy. I think during spring and summertime, this would work fantastically during the evening. And I would say you could also stretch that out into fall as well. I know a lot of times fresh fragrances, aquatic fragrances, people will automatically just say, you know, spring, summertime, that's it. Or sometimes just summertime. But I want to reiterate once again, you can wear this stuff whenever you want. And sometimes these fresh fragrances actually will smell better during the winter than the summer. They take on a different life, a different aspect. After that one, we're going to talk about a Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. Now, you could also go with the original Cool Water, which I like a lot, but Cool Water Parfum probably is going to appeal to more people nowadays than the OG. But the OG, that's a masterpiece. Cool Water Parfum is, in a way, Davidoff's take on Dior Sauvage. So it's got some similarities to that one. It has notes of grapefruit and vetiver along with pink pepper, so you have this nice woodiness as the fragrance dries down. This one I've thought for a while would be a great pickup once it hit discounters, because it's a cool water, so you know it's not going to be all that much when it hits discounters, right? Well, not as cheap as I'd like. I think cheapest I've seen it as far as the main fragrance discounter websites goes is Fragrance Net for about $55. Now, the fragrance itself smells great. People will love this one. It's like a hard mental block to get over. You know, I'm paying how much for a cool water? Ooh. But it is really nice, supremely people-pleasing. Up next, Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau de Parfum. Lacoste fragrances, you know what you're in for. Something that's going to be sporty, clean, classy, and just a great casual wear kind of scent. They're always going to be office safe, office appropriate. And this one takes that L1212 Blanc or white DNA and gives it a little more density, a little more depth, but it maintains that freshness from the original. So this one has a little bit of a green feel, some woodiness, and finger lime, so a different kind of citrus pop in the opening from your more standard grapefruit. Wife loves this one, and I found it to be super versatile, as you would expect. After that, Ferragamo Uomo Casual Life. Now, this fragrance, you can still easily find at discounters, but Ferragamo does not seem to show any love toward this Uomo line anymore, and it does appear that they are headed toward extinction. Instead, they're concentrating more on their new leather line of fragrances, which, you know, it is what it is, I guess. This one is going to give you a different feeling than everything else here because it makes use of the note of coffee, which is not really a fragrance note that you would think of with fresh scents, but they pull it off. Has a really nice musky cleanness to the fragrance, and the name Casual Life really does get captured in the scent here. It's that kind of fragrance that you think of as just really easygoing and mellow. Even though it has good performance, you know, longevity, it'll stick around your skin for a long time. It's not really that type of fragrance that wants to bash people over the head. It's completely overlooked by Ferragamo Uomo and Uomo Signature in the same line, but Casual Life is a really nice outlier, and I like what they did here. Also has a bit of violet leaf. It has some ambroxan as well. It's very easygoing and casual, like it says. After that, Narciso Rodriguez for him, Bleu Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme. Long name. This is great. This is like a little hidden gem. People in the fragrance world, they know about this, but your average Joe really doesn't. It has that blue fragrance versatility that you would expect from a fragrance named Bleu Noir, but it's also very classy, sophisticated, elegant even to an extent. It has this nice icy citrus opening, very brisk and uplifting, but as it dries down, it does become a fragrance that would work perfectly in more formal situations. The Bleu Noir line in general is very solid. Narciso Rodriguez puts out fragrances that have very high quality that not many people are wearing, and this one, if you're looking for one that's going to have just the most compliment factor or mass appeal that they've done, this is your choice. Now we're going to talk Hermes H24 Eau de Parfum. Now, H24 Eau de Toilette, I don't like. I'm not a fan of it. I think that after the opening, which I do kind of dig in the original H24, it's very green, and I don't mind it. You know, it's got a nice little sweetness. The floral note of narcissus in there, I dig, but then as it dries very quickly, I don't like it. That whole steamed clothing kind of vibe that it gives off, to me, it's very tinny. You know, it's very thin and the metallic feel I'm not a fan of. I don't like H24 Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Parfum, though, I find myself liking. There's a little more richness to it, a little more body to it. It is very aromatic, it is very green, and it does carry over pretty much the same idea as the original. It's just, I think it's accomplished in a much better way here. It doesn't come across as flat, as tinny, as metallic, as cheap smelling. And so H24 Eau de Parfum, between the two, the EDT and the EDP, that's my choice every day of the week. It has really good staying power. In the middle of summer, frankly, I'd probably still reach for something else. I mean, yes, it has freshness to it, but it's that type of fragrance. A little bit too much is gonna be overwhelming real quick. Up next, Acqua Essenziale Blue, also from Ferragamo. This one is pretty cheap. So from discounters, you can find this for a very affordable price. So this one was done by Alberto Marias. It has tonka, it has lavender, it's got citrus. It's a very clean, fresh blue fragrance. Again, blue on the name, just like Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir. That's what it is. It's going for maximum versatility here. For a time, people had kind of drawn comparisons to Versace Dylan Blue with this one, and also Bleu de Chanel with this one. But ultimately, it doesn't smell like either of those, but it is in the same family, the same style of scent. By that, I mean it's a blue fragrance with a decent amount of sweetness and citrus. It is much better than you would expect at the price point, though. Assuming you can pick that up at discounters for the price it should be going for, which is, you know, in that $30 range, it's really solid. Now let's class it up a little bit with Cartier Déclaration d'un Soi. Déclaration d'un Soi. The worst French you've ever heard in your life. You're welcome. So this right here is probably, out of everything, the classiest of the bunch, I would say. This is a fragrance that has rose right up in the front of the scent, but it's very well done, expertly done. It's not a jammy rose, it's not an overly powdery rose, it's not a very heavy rose, it's fresh, it's lively, with pops of spice like pepper in there, a nice woodiness as it dries down. This one is outstanding. For a long time, this was actually an unchained hype beast. Everybody talking about how much they loved it. Of course, with all things, as time goes on, that hype kind of died away, but the fragrance remains awesome. And next up, Issey Miyake Fusion DC Extreme. Yeah, you know when you put extreme on a fragrance name, that the performance triples. It's just a rule. Realistically, though, that doesn't happen. Not always, anyway. There are a lot of times you'll have a fragrance that's extreme in name, and then you spray it on, and like 45 minutes later, it's gone. Fragrance companies, what are you doing? So this one is another different take on a fresh fragrance, because one of the main notes in here is coconut, which you do not get very often in men's fragrances, as I've said a number of times before in previous videos. And one problem you do sometimes run into with coconut is it can come across very feminine or smelling like sunscreen, depending on how it's used. Here, that coconut is offset with lavender, with mint, giving it a very fresh and masculine edge. You do, to be fair, have solar notes in here. So, I mean, even with this having more of a masculine feel to it, you're not going to be completely out of the woods as far as that whole sunscreen vibe goes. You're going to get a little bit of that. But overall, the fragrance is done really well. It's got a touch of cardamom, some green cardamom in the opening, a little bit of citrus, sandalwood as it dries down, giving it additional creaminess. Fusion DC Extreme, really well done. And a surprisingly solid compliment puller. Up next, Azzaro Chrome Extreme. From one extreme to another. Thankfully, this one does have good longevity, and the quality here, very nice for an Azzaro Chrome. Chromes are so hit or miss. You get some Azzaro Chrome fragrances that are absolutely horrifyingly bad, and then you have other ones that are really surprisingly good. And this one, in case you're having any iffy thoughts, is one of the good ones. It's a really nice green citrus opening with lots of aquatic notes, very fresh, similarities to Acqua di Gio Profondo, much more affordable than Profondo. I mean, it's not the exact same, but it's one of those deals where it's in the same family done in a similar style. One of the best chrome flankers, chrome fragrances on the market, period. This stuff is like almost a must own, at least for people that really enjoy blue fragrances, aquatic fragrances, versatile fragrances that don't cost that much. That's where I think it's must own. Let's keep it blue. Luna Rossa Ocean up next from Prada. Now, Prada, you know, like I want to hate them. I do, because they end up killing off every fragrance that I love. It seems like if I really enjoy a Prada fragrance, it's not going to be long for this world. So they've done it in the Luna Rossa line with fragrances like Luna Rossa Extreme. They've done it in the Prada L'Homme line. They've done it with fragrances that, you know, came out before either of those lines. But for now, Luna Rossa Ocean is here, and I will say I really like it. So that means before long, Prada is going to be like, well, not selling enough. Let's do another blue fragrance. Let's give it another try and let's kill this one. Luna Rossa Ocean is an aquatic feeling fragrance, once again with iris in here, that's giving it a little bit of that Prada touch, that kind of cleanliness, but it doesn't go overly powdery here, which is really nice. That keeps the mass appeal as high as it can possibly be with this one. Like you would expect from Prada, it's a classy blue fragrance. It's not too aggressive, and it keeps everything in check. You know, it's blended very well. The fragrance comes across top notch. After that one, let's go Stronger With You Only. Emporio Armani. This is another one that's a little bit different, cut from a different cloth than most of the fragrances here, because this one is building off the Stronger With You line, which is more well known for their fall winter time fragrances that are very sweet, warm, and gourmandy. So when you first spray this one on, it opens up very fresh, absolutely comes across like a spring summertime type of scent. Then as it dries down, that Stronger With You DNA comes out more and more, and it warms up and does take on that sweet kind of glazed chestnut feeling that all the other Stronger With You fragrances have. It's not going to get as much love as Stronger With You Intensely or Absolutely or really any of the cool weather Stronger With Yous, and that's because this fragrance, like the DNA here of this scent, is just better suited for that type of scent. But as I mentioned, this is a really nice kind of change of pace fragrance for warm weather. You know, it's not your typical fresh blue scent. Then we got K Eau de Parfum from Dolce & Gabbana. Now the bottle I think is pretty cheesy. I don't like the cap. I think it looks kind of derpy, but I do think the Eau de Parfum is much better than the Eau de Toilette. I think between the two, for me personally anyway, I wouldn't even mess with the EDT. Just get this one. As you would expect from an Eau de Parfum release, this one is a little bit deeper, richer, less grating. It feels like everything here is put together and blended better with the eau de parfum. The eau de toilette has just this overt screechy fuzziness to it as it heads through the mid into the dry down, even in the opening as well, that I'm just not really a big fan of. And this really smooths that out and improves upon the scent. So eau de parfum, that one is A-OK in my book. Get good performance, great versatility, compliment factor, the whole deal with this one. Last but not least, I gotta include this one. You're talking fresh fragrances with longevity, and this stuff lasts forever, projects enormously, and it's also pretty much the most popular fragrance on the market. It's Sauvage, the eau de toilette. You can say what you want. If you want to hate on Sauvage, feel free. I mean, it's not like you're taking much of a stance, you know, if you're hating on Sauvage. You are so brave. You are so brave telling people that Sauvage is not that good. Has anyone ever told you that? I can't even imagine the courage it took you to say Sauvage smells like Ambroxan. Wow, good for you. But seriously though, Sauvage projects like a monster, lasts forever, and is one of the most consistently amazing compliment pullers, which is why people buy it like crazy, like it's going out of style. I know what you're saying, it is going out of style. Not anytime soon, I don't think. So Sauvage Eau de Toilette, wrapping this up, 15 fragrances. They're fresh, they last a long time. Now, do keep in mind, we're talking longevity here, not projection. If we were talking straight up projection, some of these are more average, but they stick on your skin for a long time. So that's why they're in the list. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me here. Thank you for your support. Stay safe out there. See you again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.